So nearby Nisha, are you ready to make some money?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Today's video is sponsored by a company called SpaceWolf. Coco is a heartwarming kids film about a precocious 10-year-old who's sent to the skeleton realm by a cursed guitar after indulging in a spot of grave robbing. Set primarily in the aforementioned realm of skeletons, the film was apparently a pain in the ass for Pixar animators to realise, mostly because they couldn't figure out how a skeleton would wear pants. Or anything for that matter. Before we move on to skeletons wearing pants, Nisha, we should acknowledge that today's video is sponsored. And the sponsor, SpaceWolf, had no input on the content you're about to see, but they did send me this t-shirt to wear in the video, but we've not seen the t-shirt yet. The only thing I've done to it is take all the stuff off the front. That lets people know where the office is. Yeah. And we've got, oh, look at that, a beer. Let's open the beer with today's sponsor, shall we? A cardboard box. Come on. Doesn't matter. If anything, it's helped me get into it. Go.
Hey.
And then, oh man. Should I try and just like Hulk Hogan it? Oh, let's do this.
Just don't knock over the beer.
Oh, okay, so I think they sent me two. They sent me two. Fuck yeah, let's have a look. So let's have a look. SpaceWolf. Fuck yeah.
Such a great name.
Space. I can't even see that space. Oh, this one's the one I wanted. Thank God. So yeah. I'm whacking this shit on right now.
Cool.
That's what size you are, and I really don't want to talk about that right now, because it's near Christmas. Nisha, would you like to hear about Pixar animators and skeleton pants?
I would, yes.
Yeah, but before that, have you seen Coco?
I have.
You have seen Coco, excellent. And have you been in any of the videos where we've discussed like the extreme lengths Pixar have gone to in regards to their animation? And how much they tend to push animation technology, sometimes inventing new pieces of software.
I don't think I was in the video, but I know of the hair in The Incredibles.
Yeah, which is
all about that.
And Nisha, do you recall the pertinent facts from that video at all?
I just know that Violet's hair was really difficult to animate. So
yes.
They had to invent a new software or something to do it.
Yeah, and that was one of the last things they figured out in regards to the animation. And the fact that blew my mind while researching that is that the animators who were tasked with realising Violet's hair legitimately did not think it could be done when they started production, and were basically told, figure it out.
My God,
yeah.
no pressure.
So they had to figure something out that had literally never been done before in animation.
Well, I imagine they had quite a lot of time to figure it out, because usually animations take 3 to 4 years to actually create, because they take forever.
They do, yes. And Pixar are one of those companies where they always flex on the competition with every movie. They did so in Coco, as we'll get to in a moment. But one story I think sums up the kind of stuff Pixar will do is when they were making Toy Story 4. And do you know the scenes in Toy Story 4 set in an antique shop? For those scenes, they wanted cobwebs in the environment. And the animators were really annoyed about that, because cobwebs are a ball ache to make. They didn't want to sit there and make fake cobwebs all day. So what they did is they created, I shit you not, AI spiders that would make cobwebs for them based on the geometry of the area they were inserted into.
What?
Which means that Pixar animators created a rudimentary AI and then forced it to perform a menial task no one could be asked doing. That's literally that joke from Rick and Morty of what is my purpose? You pass butter.
What is my purpose?
Pass the butter. Thank you.
So what is it they had to do for Coco?
Well, they had to figure out how to solve a rather embarrassing issue, that being skeleton nudity, because as you might imagine, given the stuff we've just talked about, Pixar have some pretty decent proprietary technology for realising clothing. And one of the things that, again, really surprised me when I was researching this is that when Pixar animators are creating digital clothing, they create them much in the same way a seamstress would here in the real world, by which I mean they take little patches of virtual fabric and then digitally stitch them together to create outfits.
That's pretty cool.
It is, and they already had that technology when they started making Coco. The problem was, when you put those pieces of digital clothing onto skeletons, shit starts to go wrong. And I just realised we've got a spare t-shirt and a skeleton in the office. So, let's bring out Mr. Bones, shall we? Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. That was painful.
That was do you know what? He's had a day off, it's fine. So Nisha, I'm going to try and put this t-shirt on this skeleton as you tell me about your thoughts on Coco and the animation of the clothes on the skeletons in the film.
Well, I think Coco is one of those films, it's just beautifully done. It's so pretty. And yeah, the skeletons.
Yeah, what you got to say about skeletons, Nisha?
The skeletons are really well done as well. I think I like the design, because it's like the Day of the Dead sort of style, aren't they?
Dia los Muertos, yes.
And when I watched it, yeah, the clothes seem to fit fine.
They did, yes, but a problem that they had, as people can probably see as I'm trying to dress this skeleton here, is that when you are trying to dress a skeleton, there are lots of holes in a skeleton. Especially with Pixar, one of their in-house rules is that all materials in their films should react in a realistic way to how they'd react in the real world. So when they were making characters which were skeletons, they said, well, the skeleton is only 20% of a human's body weight, so our character should be lighter and therefore move a lot more agile and be a lot lighter on their feet as a result, which meant that when they were animating the skeletons in that movie, they were, and I quote, jiggly. And when you've got a jiggly skeleton, as I have right here, what do you think happens, Nisha, with, like, let's say, the vertebrae? When a skeleton's jiggling around, what do you think happens? Oh God, he's a bit too skinny. He's got like that Billie Eilish thing going on. Look.
Oh my, yeah, I was going to say that t-shirt is like too many sizes too big.
His boyfriend t-shirt, look, there we go. I'm glad they sent me 2 t-shirts today.
It's just so done.
I'm sorry, sponsor, you paid for this. Anyway.
Right, so the vertebrae's jiggling around.
Yes.
And they're trying to put clothes on.
And what would happen is the clothing would get stuck inside the bones.
Yeah.
Because the skeletons, if you watch scenes from that movie, you'll see they bounce around. There's a lot of life to those skeletons, quite ironically. And that's one of the things they found quite difficult. So how do we animate a skeleton? Because, like, you know, bone, very tough. There's not a lot of flexibility to a bone. So they had to cheat a little bit. For example, you'll see that all the skeletons have like eyebrows or what amount to lips.
Yeah.
And like, you know, real skeletons don't have that. They had to cheat a little bit so the characters could have some kind of life to them. But by doing this, it made every time they put this digital fabric onto the bones, it just gets stuck inside the bones and just flip the fuck out. And it ended up causing, and I quote, skeleton wedges. So they have like behind the scenes footage of like the characters walking and their just clothes just fly into their skeleton arsehole and just disappear.
Easy for the cloth to get caught in between individual bones.
That's the worst case scenario for digital clothing because all of the clothing dives into the crevices of the bones. Kind of like a skeleton wedgie.
And a lot of early animation work in Coco looked really, really bad until they figured out a quite ingenious solution, which was making all of the skeletons wear an invisible bodysuit of sorts, made of the same fabric that covered all of their joints.
Oh, okay.
So that when they fell apart, this invisible fabric would stop the fabric layer on top from just like getting sucked into the now open recess where the bones were supposed to be.
Yeah, makes sense.
So all the skeletons in that movie were in 2 layers of digital fabric. And the fact that they made all the skeletons wear fucking morph suits is incredible. Because it reminds me of when I was a kid. I don't think I have it here, because I've got some action men at the office. One of my action men lost his leg.
Oh no.
His leg fell off. And what I did is I put him in a wetsuit. So what I did, that action man, I turned into like my kung fu action man, because you could basically like nunchuck him around by his one leg that was off, but the wetsuit would keep his leg on. So when he was fighting like Professor X, it'd just be, you can't stop me, Professor X, and my action man just like pirouette on the spot.
That reminds me, it's not like exactly the same. It reminded me when I had dolls when I was younger.
Yes.
You know how you used to get like boy band dolls?
Yes.
I used to have a boy band doll from that band 5. It was Ritchie from 5.
Ritchie from 5.
And he had a button on the back. If you press the button, he starts singing "Everybody Get Up." Right? And I always remember this. When I got older and like grew out of it, I threw him away in this bin bag and then put him in the big bin, and I could hear him singing.
Just like those people on the deck of the Titanic as it's sinking, just singing one last 5 songs he's put into the metaphorical bin of culture.
I'll make you get down now. I'm sorry, Ritchie. I'm so sorry.
But we need to talk about the fact, though, that these animators needed to study the skeleton. Because that's the thing, like with Pixar, they do a lot of research for their movies, regardless of how ridiculous the thing they're trying to animate is. For example, Monsters, Inc., when they were trying to animate Sully, they brought in an expert on animal locomotion to talk to them about how a heavy animal, a theoretical heavy animal of Sullivan's size, would move. And they use that to inform the animation work. Likewise, then when they were making, what's the one about under the water with the stupid fucking fish that keeps running away?
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo, yes. They brought in marine biologists.
Okay.
To talk to them about how the fish would react so that their digital AI fish in the background of scenes would react and respond in an appropriate way. Bringing it back to Coco, Pixar similarly wanted a real-world bit of reference for how a skeleton would wear clothes, which they accomplish by buying a bunch of skeletons and making them wear clothes.
Kind of like what you've done, but on a bigger scale, I imagine.
No, a bigger scale, because I can find it here. The thing is, they've not talked about this, but if you watch the behind-the-scenes stuff, you can see these skeletons in the background, like this one here, that I spotted. And you can see a skeleton wearing a shirt and tie.
Looking like it's getting ready for work.
Yeah, and like they did this with a bunch of, like, to see how clothes would hang on their frame. Because they realised, like, well, skeletons don't have the requisite musculature or like ass-based mass to fill out a pair of jeans. How would they wear jeans? And the easiest way to realise that is to get a skeleton and make it wear jeans. And I just imagine though, that skeleton, like when they wear jeans like Hank Hill. Do you ever, like, Hank Hill doesn't have an ass? And they bring it up in an episode where he's got an actual...
Just so flat.
He's got a medical condition that means he's got no cake. He's just fucking...
What does that mean?
Mr. Hill, you have no ass.
Just sugar-free ass. It's right there. It's none of it done. But to close off, Pixar maxed out a bunch of skeletons and put them around their office when making Coco, and that's fucking brilliant. So as alluded to, Nisha, today's video is sponsored by SpaceWolf. And as mentioned at the start of this video, they had no input on the content you just saw, save for wanting to sponsor it and have their name mentioned at the start and in this section here. In fact, like, I have like the list of things they asked me to include in front of me now, and it's 3 things long. One of them is include their links in the description below. Which presumably has been done. Please use only the name SpaceWolf, which I'm saying like that because I can, and then place a YouTube card with a link to the website somewhere in the video, so that'll presumably be around at the end of the video somewhere. Other than that, they said, say whatever the fuck you want, and for that, they're going to pay the channel $1,000. Which I worked out yesterday is about 750 British pounds. So, Nisha, you'll be getting about £200 for just sitting here and talking about SpaceWolf.
That's amazing. Thank you.
And Nisha, you're probably wondering, what is SpaceWolf, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen you get the t-shirts out. I've got an idea, maybe, what it might be about.
Well, we can click the link right now, because SpaceWolf is like a bunch of, like, you know, art and collectibles that you can do. And they initially offered to send me a piece of the original artwork they do. But it was too good and I didn't want it. I actually felt bad taking it because it's so good and so, like, well done. I was like, I can't take this off you. I'll feel bad. Just send me a t-shirt, and they sent me 2. And I feel bad that they sent me 2.
Yeah, because I imagine the artwork would be quite pricey.
The artwork is quite pricey, but it's real fucking good.
I need to see this artwork.
It's real. What's what we're going to do? Right. So, Nisha, I'm just going to hand you my phone right now, which is on SpaceWolf's website. And presumably, as we're talking now, there'll be a selection of the artwork behind me that you can get, and you can go check out a link below. And while Nisha's doing that, the only other thing they asked me to do is make sure the video goes out around the end of November, midway through December, so people can order for Christmas.
Wow, this is really good.
It's real fucking good.
Oh my god.
And they sent that to me, and I was like, oh, do you want one of these? We'll send it to you. And I'm like, I can't. Because I don't want to take something this fucking cool, because I'll feel bad, I'll have nowhere to display it in the office.
The Fallen Angel of Doom is really cool.
That's also fucking cool. That's the thing, because I was like,
oh, Death from the Shadows, I like that one.
There's that part of me that was like, I could get something for free here, but they are sending me, like, they're paying the channel quite a bit of money already, and it's like I felt bad taking more from them. And I think that sums up how bad a businessman I am. When I was offered a bunch of free stuff, I'm like, no, thank you, just a t-shirt will suffice. This is a really cool t-shirt. I'm going to wear this out tonight, actually.
Ooh. The loss of everything, that's very good.
There's so much in that store, and like, what a bunch of cool fucking dudes. As mentioned, like, they were just really chill about the sponsorship. And I was like, so, do you have any requests for the kind of content? No. Any requests when it goes out? Just whenever you feel like it. Anything? No, just we trust you. We think your videos are good. Just
that's what you
include
want.
The link. And do you know what that is? That's a fucking good that's a sponsor I will talk about unprompted. I don't need to be told to say, because that's fucking rad. So cool, isn't it?
Just Pickle Rick's there.
Pickle Rick. That's the thing. You've got to lean into the memes.
So they do, like,
pop culture stuff as well, some original art stuff, anime, manga inspired. And then there's just like a bunch of like tasteful photography, I'm going to describe it as. We got a bunch of cool shit by a bunch of cool dudes. So good. Check it out. And thank you for the sponsorship. And I don't know what to do with this extra t-shirt now. So what size is this? Let's have a look. SpaceWolf. Let's have a look. Oh man, look at that. Let's have a look. Because this one fits me the best. I'm thinking this might be large. Yes, it is. So I'll tell you what I'll do as well as an extra bonus. Anyone who sends me proof on Twitter that you bought something from their store, I'll enter into a raffle. Awesome. We'll figure out a way to send someone who buys something from their store this t-shirt. I'll send it with a bunch of Fact Fiend swag as well.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'll pass it on because I've got the t-shirt that I wanted. This is quite nice. I'm going to wear this one. I'm going to add it to the rotation for things on the channel, but I'll send that to somebody. We'll put some details below or in a fact bar now after we've discussed it during the editing process, because right now I can't think straight because my mind's full of skeletons.